Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's the radioactive Pop with Danny Limelight, the United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance blog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Poppy.
They want NWA? Let's give them NWA.
Who are those guys?
And then there's the other guys.
We're the other guys. We're the guys nobody ever bets on.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
It's time for the Other Alliance Guys podcast with your hosts, Tim, Dave, and Jeremy.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And what can we tell you? Well, we are the Other Alliance Guys, a presentation of alliance-wrestling.com, your number one source.
Number one,
baby. For news and information around the National Wrestling Alliance, the United Wrestling Network, and the various independents around the world. I am P.S. Timmy Wood. That's me this week. And I am joined by our personal gorgeous Jeremy. How are you, sir?
I am doing well, and you guys?
I'm doing all right. What about you, Badstreet? How you doing, Dave?
Doing good.
Yeah, I get too far down into the weeds and those things. We just have fun around here. But welcome everybody to the show. I'm glad that there's a bunch of you here right now. Willie's here. Willie's always here first. Willie's here sometimes hours before the show starts. Like he's like helping set up chairs and like before the show or something. We appreciate you, Willie. And Willie says, his first Irish joke of the day, if he went on a hunger strike after he lost the 10 pounds of gold, restaurants and buffets will have parades in every city. They can stay in business after all. He's so fat when he hauls his ass, he's got to take 2 trips. Wow. That's the world heavyweight champion for you. He's so fat, he wakes up in sections. That's our world heavyweight champion. The champion's so fat that when he goes camping, the bears hide their food. But I am no Willie. I got to leave it to Willie. He's the guy we're going to get on Jimmy Kimmel or one of those late night shows, doing a stand-up set. Media Mike, it's a big mouth on Pollo's picture. Isn't that a great graphic that Jeremy came up with of Pollo and THRILLBILLY with the country gent sign? I love it.
It spoke to me.
Yeah, it spoke to you. Yeah. Loudly, probably. We love our Pollo and our THRILLBILLY. James Bell is here. James, what the heck is going on with the Ill Begotten? Well,
nothing anymore.
Nothing. That's it. They're done, baby. But we will talk about that for sure. Doty's here. He likes garlic butter. I think it's because of comic, because we like spaghetti with linguine noodles. There's a whole culinary trend going on in our chat right now. Mike's got one. Tyrus is so fat, the post office refused to give him his own zip code, so he just declared himself a country. I have heard this before, that he used to be the country of Tyrus, and then some armed rebels took him over, and now he's the People's Republic of Tyrus. But anyway, very funny stuff. When Tyrus goes camping, he doesn't need a tent. No, I suppose he does not. He can still beat me up, though. And, hey, he is the holder of the 10 pounds of gold, which probably ends up putting him in the NWA Hall of Fame someday. And, hey, the only way I ever get into an NWA Hall of Fame is if I buy a ticket. So I'm not as much of a hater as I pretend to be. We're just having fun. And what are we talking about today, fellas? We're going to look at NWA USA from this past Saturday. Jeremy, you're going to give us some championship wrestling from Jeremy with the news from United Wrestling Network in, 2, soon to be 3 locations.
Yes.
And Dave, our resident fantasy booker, is going to talk about, is there going to be a Crockett Cup this year? And how's that going to look? Let's just, freeform. Let's do some round and pound table. two of us here, Dave and I, just to start, we made it over to New Jersey this past weekend, and from our respective towns, hours away, to watch Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, the Dr. Lawrence Zirconium's promotion in Glassboro, New Jersey, that Jaden from the Alliance guys helps out with. From what I could tell, does the bulk of the work. But hey, Pam, good to see you. Thanks for popping back in. Appreciate it. If Tyrus could fit into the NWA Hall of Fame, but nice one. And we had a great time. We met J Cal there, and Jaden, of course. And we did not get to see Rick Del Santo. He couldn't make it over. Heard he had a bit of a spill at home, so I hope Rick's doing well.
Yeah.
Apparently he's okay. But we had a great time there, and obviously I want to pitch, a promotion like DAWG, Dave. But maybe you can speak to what you saw there with some of the talent and just the good times. But generally, I like just to promote independent wrestling, and we got to do more of this in our hometowns, right? If this is where we're going to see the stars of tomorrow, and we saw some great guys there, some great talent. Yeah. Who impressed you there?
I mean, Chris Steeler plays the role so good that he's always ducking, and I mean, he plays the part so well that you actually love to hate him.
Yep.
And I mean, if he's getting boos, he's doing his job. And I mean, they have some younger guys and some newer guys on the roster, and it's one of these things of if there's a independent wrestling being put on probably within like a 90-mile radius of where you live, try to support them. That if they're doing maybe an event, or if they're not DAWG, they're doing a show, then it would be maybe once every 2 to 3 months if they're lucky. If they're doing monthlies, support them. But I mean, it's usually 10, 15, 20, 25 bucks at most.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get a pay-per-view, but go support these guys. They're maybe wrestling once a month, if they're lucky, twice a month. But go support them. They're either starting out or they're on their way down.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's one of these things. Just support what you love, and not everything that's out there you may like. But if you find something you like, do your part to support it.
That's right. There's something for everybody. Like Raluca's become, my wife has become a fan of the NWA. Didn't watch wrestling before the NWA, but like what she liked at that show was Vinny the Fixer and Patch. Those guys had to be, I'm going to conservatively say, be in their 50s.
Yeah.
They were great. They were so much fun. So yeah, get out there and support independent wrestling. I'm going to do it more and share that with you guys. Why don't we talk about Power a little bit? They do that tomorrow night, on Thursday nights, usually on the Alliance guys, the OG Alliance guys. Just touch on a couple of the happenings. Kratos got a little push.
Yeah.
Or as I wrote in our format notes, a little pus. That's weird. Maybe in that wound on his forehead. I don't know.
Yep.
Going over a three-way, but going over Clearwater, and I thought, whoa, took the title off of Jordan Clearwater, who doesn't seem like that too long ago. Jeremy lost the UWN World's Heavyweight Championship over there. It seems to be on a downside, while Kratos maybe is headed towards a TV title run. What do you think of both of their directions?
I'm glad to see Kratos get a push. I mean, It's Kratos. Come on. I'd be dumb to sit here and say that I don't want to see him get pushed, you know. Plus, he scares the hell out of me. So
he looks great comparatively to, like, remember they used to have seasons until like this season.
Yeah.
Last year he looked like he'd kind of put a bit of weight on, but he does look great now.
Yeah. And with Clearwater, I don't really understand that decision for him to drop the title so soon after picking it up, unless they've got bigger plans for him coming up down the road.
Yeah. I wonder if Kratos is headed for that TV title. I do think, Dave, you're a resident, like looking ahead 3 steps in the game guy here. Do you think that Tom Latimer even needs the TV championship?
No, not really. But to give Tom a title, to actually feature him on TV, that Tom's another one that he doesn't really need a title, but you notice him more when he has a title.
Right.
I'd like to see him bumped up to go after the national title or even the 10 pounds of gold. But right now, he has the TV title. He's not, I mean, unless they're changing the way they're going, the TV title is just that, a TV title. It's not featured on pay-per-views. So Tom isn't going to be on the pay-per-view unless they decide to feature him on the pre-show, which is on YouTube, which is as close to TV. As they get.
Yeah, and I agree that's maybe the way they should go. It's certainly worth consideration. I don't think I read this one correctly. I think what Mike was saying is Kratos has dropped weight and looks good. Jay's here. It's the boss. Love Kratos, but this was a win, not necessarily a push. He wore that crimson mask a couple of weeks ago, and they had that big Band-Aid on his head, and I kind of wondered if it was like the fans really responded to that particular, bloodshed incident. Maybe let's see what we can do with Kratos. Yeah. But Mike says, Clearwater is out he's gotten married and he's on his honeymoon. So that makes sense that he would drop here and maybe come back later. So, hey, congratulations, Jordan and Bride. Willie says, Kratos, Mims, where's Odinson? I guess they all need a push.
Good question.
Jay said it last night. You have to, for me, you got to tear Mims down and start from the ground up. Like I think that he's lost so much that, and he's in a tag team of guys who are good wrestlers, but just seem, I don't know, like they don't really entirely gel together as a concept. What do you think, Jeremy?
He definitely needs to be built back up. We've seen him come too close too many times and get shut down, and he's not even a mid-card guy right now.
Yeah.
And that sucks because Mims is phenomenal.
He's a half step above enhancement talent at the moment, I think. Although, he's getting the Magnum Muscle. I just want to say Mile High Muscle, but Magnum Muscle, or I guess getting a win or two as a tag team. You know what I would do, Dave? I would, every time I see Mims talk on camera, I think, number one, that's a terrible name. So if it's your last name, because I think his name is Matthew Mims. Yeah. Aldous used to call him Matty Mims in the back there. I remember one of his promotions, right? So he always sounds in his promos super great, like an intelligent, well-spoken, young guy. And I think I would repackage Mims as, Matthew Mims, and I would make him like the thinking man's wrestler. Make him an intelligent dude. He wears glasses outside of the ring, right? Like have him in a tweed coat, whatever. When he's not, like when he's doing a promo, make him look like $1 million, and he'll outsmart you, and he's got power, something like that.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, he's got to be built up. Mike says TV title should be promoted to the best title, second best title under the world title. TV title defenses and pay-per-view matches for a title if the angle permits. I like the TV title as a strap that is for your first. I hate using numbers or stuff, but your incoming tier, the guys on that first tier. If there's 3 tiers, say of talent, I like that it's like it should be fought for every week or two, and at most I like it down where it is, and just traditionally it's always been there. I kind of think the national title, guys, is is just needs to have more meat to it.
Yeah.
Let's see what's in the chat here. Latimer Mike says too much of an attraction to only keep him on TV. Have special matches for pay-per-view to push a feud. That'd be good. And remarks that Mims seems outshined, out charismas. You can see it in the tag matches. Mims needs to be revitalized in the NWA. Too timid, in his opinion. Jay says, give him goggles to wear in ring. Okay. I'll Atom Bomb. We failed at that. We had it already. It was called Keith Lee. So that's your smart monster, I guess.
But Keith Lee wasn't. I mean, they kind of built him that way, but they didn't really. Have you guys ever seen the movie Rock and Rolla?
Oh yeah, it's a great movie.
Okay, so Think Tank.
Right.
Mims would a tweak on that character. Mims could work with that really good.
I think you're right.
Well, the way I look at it, almost you could do a ripping off almost like a Superman or a Hulk, where you have your mild-mannered reporter or your intelligent professor, and then they become something else. Whereas, I mean, Incredible Hulk, he'd go from a mild-mannered, just intellectual to a monster. That once he gets in the ring, he becomes Mims.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah, man. There's so many fun and different things you can do that haven't really been overkilled in the past. So, Jay says, I think the TV title should be defended every 5 shows. USA and Power. Oh, I see. Like a defense and then USA Power, and a defense. Yeah, I mean, once per week is what I'd like to see, whichever show it's on, and maybe relegate it to 1. I don't know. Guys, we kind of talked about this in the green room, so to speak. They mentioned this week on Power that Chris Silvio had been suspended for actions unbecoming. I don't know if it was an attorney or a manager or whatever. And we kind of decided between the 3 of us, we had no idea why that would be. I don't.
If anyone in the chat knows, please chime in and let us know, because I'm clueless.
Yeah. We totally don't get it. We've talked about it and went, was it just bad continuity? And if that's the case, insert eye roll here. Like it's here we kind of go again, right? Like, did he just need time off? Did it happen on the NWA live stream? I mean, I don't know. Let us know if you guys know more than we do, and we'll get back to it in the chat. But you know what I did like, Dave? I liked that pre-recorded promo by Mims and Draper. I like that style of camera work.
Mm-hmm. That kind of promo where it bounces back and forth. They need to use that to their advantage to help tell the stories of either the pre or post match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they can, I mean, if they can even run some of those, if you're bouncing between USA and Power, why not use that? Help tell the story of why the match happened or is going to happen.
Yeah.
That, I mean, they had, I believe it was Draper had the golden ticket, and that's why they were going into battle for putting that golden ticket up. So it helps move the story along. Plus, it's one of these things, just like some TV shows will do. You tune in and it's either a two-parter or, hey, here's what happened last week, and they'll show you what happened. The NWA can use that to their advantage. Here's what happened, or here's what we're looking ahead to happen. That they're going into a match for a chance at going for the titles. If they lose their chance at going towards the titles.
Right.
Being at some of the matches when they're taping, you're not sure of the backstage stuff that's happening. Unless it's out with Kyle, you're not really knowing what the actual storyline is until you see it produced and put on the YouTube channel.
The only
So it's just one of those things that it helps carry the story along.
Well, let's throw this over to the guy we call Wrestling with the MMA. Dodie says, I like that monologue style promo. It has some MMA vibes to it. And Mike agrees. What do you think, Jeremy? Do you like that camera work?
I like the camera work on it. I like what they're doing with these, and I do hope that it is a style that they hang on to and utilize more, because it engages me a lot more than just your average promo, you know.
Right. You know, what I do miss out of it, though, is that you don't get Kyle at the podium anymore. And there was a real, like, NWA feel for, you know, where Flair would come out to the promo and talk about his alligator shoes and why Ricky Morton he gets all the teeny boppers or whatever, that you can't get in that kind of promo, but like that pre-recorded promo. But it certainly has value. Like Dodie says, it's better than something stupid in the ring that might happen. You know, and frankly, better for me than Gags the Gimp holding a microphone and handing you a piece of paper. Just
Oh, and these are a lot easier to edit as well, so you can, and they seem to be rather short, so maybe they are going more towards the, okay, let's run that through again.
Right.
Because they have all seemed very crisp and really well done. You know, so
it's true. Somebody's maybe, you know, like you said, is in there going, let's do that, because we saw some of those ones last year where, you know, actually guys like Mim just kind of had that. It's that 60 seconds with promo that was fine, but no one said, okay, let's do it again. It looks like they're doing it again. I'm just going to scroll right back up for a second. Willie says TV title should be defended on Power and USA, so both programs. I missed that one, but also J-Cal said, like, the way you build up Mims is to give him that TV title when Tom cashes in on the Lucky 7. Yeah, I mean, have him storm the show and take it, you know, take control for sure in whatever match is set up to replace it. I would agree.
Yeah.
I think for the two different types of promos, Jay's saying there's room for both. I agree. There are at the podium and pre-taped. He's ready for Gags to go, aren't we all? And Willie says, remember how the NWA would have a main event last? I mean, kind of still do, right? And then next week we get the results when it comes on. Oh, I see. Yeah, that was, I don't know. I want that to come back. But hey, speaking of more of that NWA action, no more ill begotten.
Yeah.
I don't know, Jeremy. Like, do obviously there must be plans for Alex Taylor that don't need him tied to either Danny Deals or Jeremiah Plunkett, and maybe no need for a talent enhancement group. What do you think?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
It's like, I'm hoping that this means that maybe Danny's going into the commentary booth.
he's good at it.
He was great at it. I enjoyed that. And a push for Alex Taylor is smart.
Yep.
But where does that leave Plunky?
I mean,
had some banger matches here lately, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, he's always been solid and, certainly one of the most experienced guys on the roster. So much fun to watch. Dave, would you put Deals in the commentary and have Alex go face? And did either one of you guys buy any of their merchandise?
I actually have a picture of them, and all three guys signed it.
Oh, that's good.
Deals was there, and I'm like, Deals, get over here. I need you to sign this. It's not complete. It's a picture of all three of you. So I do have that in my autograph book. What could have been. I'm not sure where they're going. I know they're pushing Kerry.
Yeah.
But Alex is right there, if not maybe a step above Kerry.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, he could take the belt, but right now they're doing the Alonzo. They're doing the battle with Alonzo and Kerry. So who knows? I mean, if they're going to build up Alex, that's a good thing. I look at Plunkett as he's a veteran that knows how to make anybody look good.
Yeah.
That if they do I don't know if they could do maybe a Barry Horowitz type thing where he's always losing and then give him a couple wins and he goes on a winning streak. But I mean, he's a great wrestler. He's been doing it for years. Maybe it's time for him just to do it by himself without Danny, or have him find a youngster, take under his wing and start a new tag team. Who knows?
Right. Well, I hope they, I'm sure they have a plan, whatever that plan may be. As Jay says, they never reach their full potential as a group. I always thought, Alex Taylor as a face is a bit weird to me, especially since they start calling him the mastermind, Alex Taylor. And, and if you just squint a little bit at him, he looks like Charles Manson. but he does. Look at it next time. Just go.
Think about it, yeah.
That guy's in an old movie set horse ranch somewhere with a bunch of young people plotting for the end of the world. No, I'm sure he's a great guy. I don't know why I said that. I'm sure he's a great guy, but he does. He's got that natural heel look to me. Great
as a heel. Whenever he'd come out and he'd give his hotel room.
Yeah.
That's cringe.
Yeah.
That's cringe, and it's perfect for him.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess we'll see what happens with them. I think the only other thing I wanted to bring up from actual Power itself was Eric Jackson in the main event. And look, he's rubbing his face. I got nothing against Eric Jackson. He's paying his dues. Right. He looks like $1 million. What a body on that kid. Like, he's got a chest, like just pecs out to here. And he's learning, and he was not terrible in this main event. He looked okay for a young guy. Took a huge beating and made a good impression, I think, on everyone who watched. Why is he in the main event? Like, why is he tagging with the world's heavyweight champion who's giving him a high five outside the ring, who's kind of pulled him back away from GZ and EC3. Talk to me, Jeremy.
I wish I fucking knew. I really honestly do. I mean, and like you said, nothing at all against Eric Jackson.
Yeah.
Great wrestler, in great shape, a lot of charisma and everything, you know, and great opportunity for him. But why?
You know, I don't get it. It's just like if they were saying, we're going to take Eric Jackson and we're going to make him like a protege to Tyrus, like some guy who can be with Tyrus as he builds up a new group or something. Okay, but don't start with a tag match. Start with an interaction. Start with a squash, but the kid shows heart and Tyrus goes, you know what?
I see something in you, kid.
Yeah, just like boom. And like, look, Dave, if there's anybody who in the NWA who watches anything that, you know, us or shows like us say about these type of things, I hope that they watch your segment, because you'll go, you know what, a great plan would be is to have Scion about to reach his dad's days and national champion. Boom, daddy turns on him. I'm still a better champion than you were, you little shit. Whatever it might be. It makes sense. There's steps to it. This just seemed to got pooped out onto the screen, and I didn't get it, and I thought it was sloppy. What did you think?
Well, I'm not really sure why they did it, and I don't know if they're sure why they did it. But it's one of these things that if Tyrus is either rebuilding because Austin Idol seems out of the picture. He's dealing with Scion.
Right.
G's is dealing with EC3. I'd go the opposite way and have G's go, hey, kid, you took a beating. We see something in you. Would you like to control your narrative? Boom. Come join us.
Yeah.
That it's one of these things of who knows where it goes, but there's some reason that they use him. There's a storyline there somewhere. It's not like, oh, this was the last match of the last night of filming and everybody had showered and he was the only one that he's sitting there waiting. Hey, do you guys need me? Do you need me?
Yeah. Yeah, it could be that, right?
Yeah.
And that's not good enough for TV and your main event. Like,
so who knows?
So who knows? Like maybe Tyrus was sitting in the back and had a bunch of laughs and really likes this guy or whatever and said, you know what? I'm going to set this guy up. Billy, can we just have this and we'll further it along with EC3? And I also don't get, unless I'm, again, missing something in my elderly brain, why is there an EC3 Tyrus buildup right now on TV? Shouldn't this have been Chris Adonis's moment in a match with Tyrus in a tag match? I mean,
makes logical booking sense to me, but I'm not Billy or Pat or any of them guys.
Yeah, Jay says he looked okay next to Tyrus. Yeah. Billy says Tyrus is rebuilding his plate from a staggering buffet. Yeah. Plunkett, and for the one on the TV title, Plunkett and Mims should fight for the TV title. I'd watch that.
I'd watch that.
I'd drive 9 hours for that. And Can We Ban the Spectaculars next? I would drive 9 hours for that. That would be a good match. But I think, you know, like Polka Dot Pam is a big Chris Adonis supporter, amongst others as well. But, you know, there's been a couple of things that have happened that made us think, well, maybe there's an opportunity for Adonis to walk away with the 10 pounds of gold at 312. Doesn't seem likely, but there's been if they're going to Australia and Tyrus is going to be your world's heavyweight champion and you want the belt there, and he's still got Gutfeld, I mean, maybe that happens, and that's something that is a good suggestion. But it doesn't feel to me like, guys, like Jeremy, it doesn't feel to me like if you got him standing in the ring, Tyrus, with EC3, that it's Adonis's finally his time to shine.
The only place that Adonis feels like a number one contender is on Twitter and on the card for 312. All the booking and everything says that EC3 is your number one contender.
Yeah. Jason suggests Tyrus was trying to make G's jealous.
Oh, come on now. Jackson's taller than Black G's.
I'm not sure if he's joking or he's being serious. If he's being serious, I didn't catch that, and I wouldn't understand why you would have your world's heavyweight champion go, oh yeah, well I can find somebody else to replace you. I don't get it. I don't see it. But hey, yeah, go ahead.
We don't understand a lot about the NWA.
It's true. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like heavy mystery time here in the NWA. Things just get so vague and undefined. Like, is Idolmania Sports Entertainment a thing? Are they together? Are they apart? Who's managing who? I don't know. Anyway, but talking about 312, where Tyrus, of course, defends the 10 pounds of gold against the masterpiece Chris Adonis. There's a few people, Dave, you were saying before the show, who don't have matches right now.
Yep.
And talk to me about that.
Right now, there's nothing for THRILLBILLY and Pollo. So unless they step into somebody's shoes, because, oh, darn, Scion needs a new opponent because EC3 got beat down in the back. Who knows? Yeah. I mean, THRILLBILLY can be inserted anywhere, but they have to make it make sense.
Yeah.
That somebody mouths off to him and for no reason he drags them out and says, I want a match. Boom. Throw a 10-minute match on. THRILLBILLY shows, this is why I should be your next national champion. This is why I should be your next holder of the 10 pounds of gold. Why are you guys looking past me? You should be looking me in the eyes and telling me yes or no.
Who will...
It being a pay-per-view, it's not TV, but they could put Tom with the TV title on the pre-show. That if you have 3 good pre-show matches on YouTube, people may want to spend the $25 to order it on Fight.
Right. Yeah. Willie points out Brett Titus doesn't have a match either, which I hadn't thought of.
Yeah.
That's good. It's a good point. Mike says, I'm thinking THRILLBILLY and Pollo will be a surprise at 312. Thrilly using his Contender Series thing to cash in against the winner of the national title. Sure. Then Willie would like to see EC3 fight Jordan Clearwater rather than the match that's making sense. In about 2 minutes, for everyone who's in the chat right now, who happens to be there at this moment and can hear my droning voice, there's going to be a contest. I suggest you be at your keyboard, either on your phone if you're there. I'm going to be giving a giveaway for you guys just here. Like, I got some merch. A couple pieces of merch. We got 2 giveaways. Nothing major. I'm not giving a belt away. It's okay. Everyone calm down. But I got some merch, and we're going to give it away in about 2 minutes. And I'm going to ask you a trivia question. You got the first person to write it into the chat. Contact me afterwards and over Twitter or whatever, and I'll mail it out to you. Okay. So get ready for that in a couple minutes. Hey, Pam, if you're out there, Pam, are you going to Australia? I think Pam said last time she was sadly not going to Australia.
Yeah, I believe she did.
Yeah, Jay's asking there. Also, we got Dave pointed out to me earlier that Daisy Kill and Talos, Jeremy, you're I think he's from Hollywood, I guess, or Championship Wrestling now or whatever. 7 foot tall giant who just got introduced before 312. They don't have a match either. Do you see them appearing at the pay-per-view in your mind?
I think it would be smart.
He's joking.
I think it would be smart to have him there, come out and go Trevor into a match or something. At the very least make an appearance. You brought this guy out and he immediately goes after one of your top guys. So in my mind, you're looking at this Daisy Kill guy as a potential top guy anyways. So
yeah,
logically he would have to at least make an appearance.
Yeah.
And bringing Talos along would be the proper move for it as well.
I've always liked that, I don't know how tall Daisy Kill is, but I'm saying the little guy, big guy backup team like Carino and the Fixers, right?
The Chihuahua and the Bulldog.
That's it. Just, that's always been the best, right?
Yep.
So that's fun to me. And he kind of strikes me if you come in that way and like the same way that Mike Knox did. And some of you guys probably knew who Mike Knox was before he arrived in the NWA. This guy did not. Call me. I'm like, who is this guy? I don't know who this guy is, but they built him up by attacking Trevor in that cage. And, but yeah, it'll be interesting. Mike says pre-show, so maybe he's on the most likely Petri Dish Raven and Talos. Petri Dish Raven. Oh, that's hilarious. And Talos will probably do a pre-show. Both are new, so probably the best way for an appearance of any kind. Great. That's funny. Another thing to consider about EC3 and Tyrus, maybe that was the original plan, Jay says, for 312, but they decided to go to Adonis at the last minute. Hence, Adonis isn't presented to the audience that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Point taken. Let's look. Let's do this. This is for the Alliance faithful out there. Let's do the shirt. I bought this shirt. I got this shirt, and then my wife went, "Oh, there's purple as a color now." So now we're getting a purple one. So I've never been opened or anything like that. You can look at that. The face of DKM and JCal and Lamb. Ooh, right there, and all the other faces. That how was it that we did not get packaged where you could see our faces, fellas?
I don't know, but my granddaughter just lights up every time she sees DKM's cherub little face on there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
This packaging is unconstitutional, and my solicitor, Chris Silvio Esquire, will be in contact with the Alliance shortly. We should do a work someday, that Jason P. Cayley of the Alliance. Anyway, I'm giving this away right now. It is a trivia contest. First person to answer in the chat. Hope you're near your keyboards. I hope some of you answer, because if you don't, I'm going to feel terrible. Okay. Here is your question. So, 10 years ago, March 16th, 2013, Rob Conway defeated Cahagas for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. Who did he replace that was injured and could not appear in that match, and who is a current Lightning One wrestler? What name? Neither one of you guys or Jay are allowed to answer. Do either of you know, by the way? Don't say it, but you know.
I'm thinking, and I can't think of it.
Yeah, I had to look it up. Yeah, yeah. She doesn't want it. Raluca doesn't want it. DKM's on it. That's what Mike says. Let's leave that there and let it marinate for a second. Who did Rob Conway replace? What injured wrestler from the current Lightning One era did he replace when he defeated Cahagas for the World's Heavyweight Championship? James Bell says Ricky Morton. I do not believe that is correct. We'll let that go. Can you imagine if my information's wrong and then like, oh shit, now I've got to buy James Bell a toque? Tim Storm? No. It's not Tim Storm. Google is your friend. But good guesses. Good guesses. Oh, this is close. Jax Dene. I don't know who that is. Sorry. Well, he says Tim Storm. Oh no, Mike gets it in his Jack Stain. It is Jack Stain. Jack Stain was replaced in that match. I already know your I believe your address, Mike, from the time you won before. I will ship. I hope you're a large. I should have pointed out it's a large. All right, that was fun. We got another one to do later in the show.
Well, if you're not a large, just put it away. It'll be worth billions in a couple of years.
Sure. Once the inevitable takeover of the alliance happens, and no, hey, I'm sure that Jay and DKM and Jaden will talk about. Mike says he's not a large. I don't know what to tell you. What's that?
It'll be worth billions. Don't worry about it.
Mike, I love you like a long lost cousin, but I don't care. Hey, the NWA, as we know, has gone to Mexico. Right?
Yes.
They are going to Australia. They're coming to Canada, baby.
I was so happy to see that yesterday and so glad that you hadn't found out about it yet.
Yeah, that's right. Mike, do you want the hat instead? I'll give you the hat. How about that? If you want the Alliance toque, as we call it up here in Canada, you can have the toque instead. Because I want you to be able to, have something that fits. If your head is massive, however, don't take the toque. That's why it's like this giant head of mine. It's not going to fit. One size fits most. But they're coming to Canada. Jeremy told me he's going to take the hat. So we'll go for the T-shirt later today. Done deal. So where was I? Yes. So Jeremy tells me on Twitter, hey, they're going to Canada. They're going to Toronto, which is like I'm from Toronto. It's next door to me. And, they're going to Ottawa, which is 5 hours from me. I'm not going to that. But I'll go to the Toronto show. And my wife points out to me then, we will have just come back that weekend from 75. I'm like, well, I guess you're not going to Toronto then, is what you're saying? Because I'm going to Toronto. Yeah. So awesome. So it's incredible to me. I'm so excited to see the NWA, in my home country, and I want to see them go to, every country that has a flag on that belt. Australia got their flag taken off when all this was went over to Great Britain, him being obviously native to that land.
Never should have did that.
Nope. I heard people from Australia saying, well, I don't want to watch anymore. That's how personal that stuff can be. And in any one of our countries, right? I think we're all patriots in one way or another. And
was that the proverbial first nail in his coffin out the door? Possibly.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah,
I know
hey, thanks.
a lot of feathers.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think he thought there's been British champions before. There should be, there is one now. I want the flag on there. I just always felt they should have just added a flag onto the strap.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But let's yeah, Jay's coming up. He's gonna go sleep on my couch. Yep. I got a 3-room place here, buddy. You got your own room. It'd be great. I'm taking bookings. There is, he says, no announcement for sure about it being an NWA show. That is what I was going to get to. We kind of subsequently find out that they, like, some of these will be an NWA show, but I can't see them coming here and not picking Toronto, which is like I don't know, if you're an American, I don't think a lot of citizens, which I have family in the U.S. That I count among them, know that we're the 4th biggest city in North America, right? You got LA, New York, Chicago, and Toronto. It's a big town. I can't see them not doing it here. And there's a lot of Canadian NWA fans, right? That's super exciting to me. And I guess we don't have to talk about it at length, but I just wanted to just say, like, I'm super excited, not only for me, but like the NWA is touring. And Jay's already talked about, how becoming a special attraction can be hit and miss. But to go to how excited we all are about them going all over the world and in such rapid succession and really, it feels like something major. Willie says, I haven't been to Australia since served in the U.S. Navy in the mid-late 80s. The Gold Coast of Australia is beautiful. Thank you for your service, Willie.
Thank you, Willie.
And Mike says, I need to go back to Winnipeg, but my family's probably dead there. It's been so long. Well, I certainly wish them good health, but with due respect to your family, there's no reason to go to Winnipeg. Nobody needs to go there. I haven't been to Windsor either. It's been 11 years. Have you been to Detroit? You've been to Windsor. I bet Mexico City is bigger than Los Angeles. You would know, but I remember reading that LA was like 16 cities combined into one.
Yeah.
Toronto's like 8 cities pushed into one. So I don't know, but you're probably right. And maybe they're not including Mexico in that North American statement, but they certainly should be. Mike says, should be proud time. This is big for the NWA in Canada itself. If successful, could mean more returns. Boy, I hope so. I mean, it would be so nice to just be in driving distance of something that I could get to reasonably. They could film, Jay says, all the matches from the tour and make a 3rd show. Yeah, more Canadian humor on this show. I'd love a 3rd show. I don't know if I have time for a 3rd show, but my daughter will, and she can fill us in. So there you go, man. That's really cool news. We've done the giveaway. Let's go over to you guys. I'm dominating the conversation even more than usual right now, and I apologize for that. Let's go to NWA USA for March 25th, which was an interesting show. Where are my notes? Here we go. Interesting is always a dangerous word, guys. And the NWA can be interesting at times. It started off with Psycho Love and so Fodder and Angelina Love. I love when Jeremy just goes. You could feel the migraine starting and ripping through one of his eyeballs. Versus PJ Hawks and Kylie Page, the debuting Kylie Page. So this starts off okay with Fodder and PJ with some good technical wrestling to start. Where intergender rules are in effect. I'll mention something in a second. You guys can hopefully correct me if I'm wrong out there in the chat. But PJ out wrestles Fodder a little bit, which makes sense character-wise to me. And Fodder kind of gets rough with the elbows and the fists, which makes sense to me. Like he's a little crazy. He's rough around the edges. You can see him getting frustrated, and he's certainly skilled. But PJ's just a little bit more technical, so he turns a rough style. But Fodder tags out after a PJ turnaround, and he tags in Love. Okay, who wants PJ to hit her or to wrestle her? Kind of unclear. PJ's just like he backs off and he tags in Kylie. It's hard to really be sure because they talk over the in-ring chatter, the announcers do, but it kind of sounds like she likes PJ, Kylie does, and she's going to take care of this whole mess. So Love takes immediate control over her in the match. She smacks her around. There's a really pretty well executed drop toe hold face first into the turnbuckle. And it's kind of here, guys, where I'll pause for a second, where the intergender tag team rules occur to me that if one team has a member who's beat up and makes a hot tag, then the other team automatically tags out.
Yeah.
So if you're both crawling to the corner and one guy makes a hot tag to tag in, all the other team needs to do is tag out again. And it would put the person who's in on a house on fire, be it the male or the female, immediately back out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, it should just be automatically, oh, well, I'm taking her, like mine didn't make it to the corner before yours. Now you're in your house on fire. I'm taking out, and you got to bring the one who's been beat up back in. This is the stupidest kind of wrestling I've ever heard of when you think about it that way. Like, I'm right. Am I not?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are we even considering having these matches? If it's straight up tag matches like we had that 1 week, okay.
Yeah.
I still don't want intergender, but wouldn't that make more sense than this?
Yep.
Fado has a kendo stick for some reason. The ref says no to the kendo stick, the psycho stick or whatever. Angelina complains. Kylie rolls her up a couple times and she kicks out of. Angelina just beats the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Kylie makes a hot tag. PJ takes over with clotheslines and then immediately tags in Kylie again, who hits a side Russian leg sweep for 2. And Fodder attacks PJ on the outside as Love hits the Botox injection on Kylie and pins her. Jeremy, your thoughts on this match?
I found myself asking the question why a lot this episode, as with Power as well. But do you guys remember the scene from Ace Ventura where he realizes that Lieutenant Einhorn is Ray Finkel and he's crying gaming in the shower? That's how I felt at the end of this match, watching those two freaks do their little freak whatever. You're a freak, cool. I ain't got nothing against freaks, but keep that shit in the bedroom. I don't want to see that on my TV. That was gross.
Yeah.
But then my next question was, why are they in the NWA, and is Fodder capable of doing more than intergender hardcore type matches? And Angelina's Botox injection should be renamed the breast implant. She has yet to connect to the face since she's came into the NWA with that.
Really?
Yeah. And then I was glad to see PJ and Kylie get some time in the ring. That's the best thing I like. That's the best thing I can say about this match.
Same. And I thought Kylie was very serviceable in the match that she did a good job. Dave, your thoughts on it?
I like he said, I was glad to see PJ back in the ring, but you still have to question if they're doing intergender, why are they tagging up? What does PJ and Kylie, what's the connection? It's just,
Right.
oh, here's a young guy and here's a young girl wrestler. Let's put them together because we have to have this match.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, she was doing the Google eyes at him. If you follow PJ, you know he's getting married.
And everyone in the chat was calling that out.
So it's like, just guys, make it make sense.
There's even a live stream event coming up, if it hasn't already happened, called PJ's Bachelor Party.
Wow. But I mean,
yeah.
Kylie is the new female wrestler. Her getting pinned, she doesn't lose much, being that it's her first match.
Yeah.
And it keeps basically everybody strong because we don't know what she can do as a singles wrestler yet.
Yeah.
So her losing in a tag match, especially to an established wrestler who has been wrestling longer than Kylie's been alive.
Yeah.
That's the way to keep the story going. That if they do another mixed tag, that she either gets a new partner or they do a singles with Angelina versus Kylie, who wants to get revenge and get her first win.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it wasn't a bad match, but I don't know where they're going, and I don't know if they know where they're going with these mixed tags. They just have to make it make sense.
And they're trying
if anything, if they go for a tag, give them a 10 count for the other person to tag out. So it's male against male and female against female. If not, they don't need to do these mixed tags, intergender, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
They just need to make it work somehow.
Or if you're going to do it, like we were saying a minute ago, just do straight up tags and have it like, hey, sorry, Kylie, if you end up in the ring with fodder, you end up in the ring with fodder. That's the way that seems not more appealing, but less unappealing to me. Let's see some comments in the chat. I'll go back to something from earlier. Willie calls him Psycho Trailer Park Love. He does not like Angelina Love, as we know. Okay, I'm going to go back to that in a second. If you ask me, I'm wishing NWA, Mike says, didn't have Angelina Love in the NWA, but hey, it's a favorite of Velvet.
Mm-hmm.
That was another why question that I had. Why are they here? Because she's Velvet's friend.
She had some name value. I think it's been a while. But I mean, at one point, I guess she did. But yeah, I mean, we often talk about every one of us begins to age a little bit, and she's older in the same way like Melina was when she was around in a couple of years ago, right? And it happens to everybody. Jay says, I think they're rushing to build a division that nobody's been asking for.
Yep.
Yeah. The answer to the question that nobody asked. Yeah. Wasn't a bad match of wrestling-wise. Psychology-wise, dull. No cause or effect, no action or reaction to warrant another match or a build-up. Just onto the page. I figured that's why they paired Mercurio with Markova. Yeah, Jay says. Yeah, I would agree. Make flat butt Trailer Park Angelina Love be a mid-card tune-up for up-and-coming female wrestling talent. I mean, she has put people over since she's come here, and there's no shame in that. I just wanted to go back up to here at the top where talking about the Canadian humor, but you saw NWA, Willie did at a Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. My hometown, Ric Flair versus Harley Race, which was a leading match for 83 Starrcade. The only time other than Sabu I ever saw an NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and I barely remember it, was Ric Flair versus Wahoo McDaniel, where Wahoo threw my friend Jeff down a flight of stairs. So it was cool. He loved it. Mike says, this is why I wish NWA to come Johnson City, Tennessee, and not Knoxville. More of East Tennessee can attend Johnson City, or I think it's Bristol, even than Knoxville. More Virginia residents as well, making it a packed house. Yeah, move it around a little bit, right? But Willie said, Mike said, I always loved how events looked at Maple Leaf Gardens. As a kid, I could never understand announcers. I always thought they said, welcome to Make Believe Gardens for years. Call it that. That's hilarious. Do I have an accent for you guys? Like, I don't think I have any accent whatsoever.
Nah.
No. All right.
Okay.
Well, we move to, I think we're going to get a co-host in a second. We're all very excited. Joe Galley with Aaron Stevens and Blunt Force Trauma earlier today. Here's what I wrote down. Okay, Dave. Rolando's in trouble is the message we get from Aaron. Aaron talks about his Tampa Bay Titanic street fight, which I still don't know what that is. They're afraid the NWA is to have Blunt Force Trauma at 312 because they're the best. He talks a ton in this interview. He's fast. He's quick. I think he sounds great. He's putting over his team like a manager should as future World Tag Team Champions. Carnage and Damage say their lines, which, are their names. There's going to be Carnage. There's going to be Damage. And I thought it was a decent promo. What did you think?
I liked it, but I'm not sure where they're actually going with it. Aaron does, whatever he's doing, he does well. But I'd like to see him end up wrestling. They just need to move on from the Rolando storyline, from the May storyline. He just needs to, eventually, if he keeps interfering, Blunt Force Trauma is going to drop him like a bad habit.
Which I guess is the storyline, right?
Yeah. So it's one of those things that if he's so anxious to get his hands on somebody, he needs to put the trunks on and get back in the ring.
Yeah. And maybe that's where it's going. Jeremy, does your granddaughter believe Blunt Force Trauma should remain with Aaron Stevens or no?
What do you think? Should BFT remain with Shooter Stevens?
Oh, she made a noise there.
It was a
No, it was an Yeah, there you have it, folks. Hey, Jay says he has an accent after hanging with me. It was funny because they turn to us every once in a while and go, you just said A. Like, that's the most Canadian thing. We do say it a lot. It's true. Ottawa? We said yesterday, is it Ottawa? I love Americans. I do. My sister is an American. You guys are great. Strongest, most amazing country in the world. And I live in Canada. But I'm telling you, you know nothing about where we live up here. We're geographically bigger than you. There's only like 7 big cities up here. Can you just learn their names? It's Ottawa, my friend. Ottawa.
There we go, Boogie.
Okay. May Valentine is then in a segment with Ricky Morton and Bobby Fulton.
Let's see.
And when I started watching this, I kind of inwardly sighed and thought, okay, well, here we go with this stuff again. Jay says, we don't, but I did get rid of Trudeau. No, I'm afraid he's still here. No, I have no problem with RPM. Anyway, and I kind of inwardly sighed about this because I kind of feel like I've seen this little bit enough. But I'll tell you, by the end of it, it was probably no longer than 2-3 minutes. But I was kind of all right. This segment was all right. It's May says, and she looks really bright and happy, and she says like, it's an honor to stand here with two legends. They have a conversation where they say, hey, Bobby says, we've known each other since the 80s. We've driven up and down. We've shared locker rooms, and we were so poor that we'd share a Pepsi. He'd take a sip, I'd take a sip. In the car together. We weren't always friends, but we always respected each other. We paid our dues together, and he's really happy that Ricky saved him from the Fixers, and now they got to fix the Fixers together. And then Ricky, who we've talked about on the show as well, as really aged out of his use in ring. Still, one of the greatest, obviously, in tag team wrestlers or even singles wrestlers in the NWA history in the past. Still has that charm, and he can see that Ricky Morton charisma. Just kind of they're bad, but we're legends. They don't know us. We will lie down, and we won't lie down, and we're in this together. And basically, Fulton finishes up and says, you guys disrespected us. You disrespected the NWA and the OGs. He says the OGs. Bobby Fulton says we're coming to get you. What did you think, Dave?
Well, this would have been a time to have them be pre-recorded where you could edit things down and have them just voicing their opinion without having a mic shoved in their face and feeling that they had to talk. I'm glad that they're using legends on the show, but they have to use them in the correct way. And while Ricky can still go in the ring, I really don't want to see Bobby in the ring. I appreciate them using him, but this is one of those things that they can use Kerry, and Bobby also has a son who wrestles. Right. So in that, they could bring in the second generation to do battle for them.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And seeing this, they're talking about the Fixers. Fixers aren't on the pay-per-view either. So either do a pre-show with them where they either beat down the legends and then at the tapings their sons come out.
I think you've booked it. That feels like that's what's going to happen to be. Don't you just said that now?
I'm really hoping that's what happens.
Man. What did you think, Jeremy? You see Bobby, you see Ricky. There's fire there, but there's no ability to go in the ring. What did you think of the segment?
Bologna sandwiches, sipping Coca-Cola, and stormy weather. Oh my! I love the hell out of these two guys, but this was definitely one that needed to be pre-recorded and then edited and done again. It kind of, I don't know. I'm really hoping that this leads to the team up of Kerry and Bobby's son. Didn't they just have a match recently together?
Yes, I think it was supposed to be a three-way with Brock Anderson, but his older brother passed away.
Yeah.
So they ended up fighting each other. It was, I'd say, 3 or 4 weeks ago, if that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe, hopefully that's what they're building towards, is that, because I definitely don't want to see these two try and do a tag team against the Fixers. We've seen Ricky in the ring too much with the Fixers anyways, for my taste.
Right.
I don't want to see them revisiting that. I want them to bring in the kids instead and have them run roughshod over the Fixers.
Excellent. Like I say, I think Scoob might have nailed it. Like that just sounds like that's what's what's going to happen. And Jade said, I did get Trudeau right, and yeah, I read that wrong. He meant like he knew our prime minister's name up here, which surprised the shit out of me. but there you go. Biden was just up meeting with him on the weekend. That's why. Yeah, A is the best mark you get on your high school finals. This is true. Is there a higher mark in the U.S. other than A plus or no? I don't know.
Really? No, it's just an A. You don't get an A plus. They'll put a plus on like a test paper, but for like your report card, it's just A's and B's.
Huh. All right.
I didn't know any A's though, so
yeah, I didn't get too many of those. Jack Stain, guys, the answer to our trivia question, versus Shepard Lutz, who we have seen previously, at least once before in the NWA. This is where we learned that Chris Silvio was suspended. We were talking about earlier, where none of us and nobody has spoken up in the chat about it, about anyone know why he was suspended, because I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything that I can remember. Dean comes out furious, and he released belly to belly's Lutz into the mat. He glares at Storm. It's just kind of ongoing on and off thing where it's like, why is he always staring over here? Why does he hate me so much? He tosses Lutz into a corner. He smashes the crap out of him, guys. He stomps, he strikes, he squeezes the head. He's trying to twist it off. The best line I thought on commentary during this match was that Shepard Lutz was questioning his career choices. I thought it was pretty funny. He does then, however, Shepard does. He manages to hit a stunner on Dane, which Dane does not care to fall down for. There's two running uppercuts in the corner. There's sort of a springboard tackle off the ropes for a comeback. He hits another springboard, this time into a cross body. And he knocks Dane down. Like, they make a little story out of it where he finally gets, the massive beast Jack Stain off his feet. He keeps hitting like these two little drop kicks to the knee to keep Jax down. He hits a DDT, and I'm like, holy crap, this kid's getting offense in on Jack Stain. He finally ends up going for like a stinger splash in the corner, and Dane just props him up on his shoulder, walks him out into the center of the ring, and hits a Samoan drop. He just picks him up and pops the trunk, as they say, takes him right off his feet, covers him for the win. But as memory serves, Jeremy, he ended up taking. Did he end up taking the vest off? I don't remember. He did, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a sign of respect from him.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this match, but I found myself asking, why did it go 4.5 minutes?
Yeah.
Great offense from Lutz. He looked really good in the ring. I liked the story, like you pointed out, that the commentary was building up for him and telling to him finally getting Dane on his back, which is a feat in and of itself,
Mm-hmm.
But why was this 4.5 minutes long? Why did the guy scream like a damn howler monkey every time he delivered a move? Or for almost the entire match, really?
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel that Dane being upset, as commentary played up, that he was upset with Silvio being suspended. For me, it should have been just a complete squash match with some afterbirth even as well. Him just going a little insane and just stomping the kid for a little bit.
Right. Yeah, I agree. That's a really good point, actually. Like, how did this happen to me? How did this kid get, so much offense in? And clearly that was part of the point, Dave. But you mentioned earlier to me, like, why are they having the Savages breaking out as a tag team now when they're headed into a tag team situation with the Country Gentlemen. What did you think of this match, and what did you lead into for that?
It was a good match. I think it would have been better as a shorter squash match, or if they would have had Bulletproof Troop in place of Dane, getting more feeling in the ring, get feeling more comfortable in the ring, even as a singles wrestler. But they are a tag team. He's getting more experience, and that helps build the tag team. Jax could do this in his sleep.
Yeah.
He could do it with one arm tied behind his back and on one foot. Jax, besides being a name, they need to have the newer, hungrier talent that they're trying to build up be featured on USA.
Yeah. Chris Silvio calls Jax Dane the greatest wrestling attraction in, like MJF is always saying, I'm an attraction like Andre the Giant was, only shorter.
Yep.
It like that, just saying Dane doesn't have to do this because Dane has held every belt of value in this company. You're right. It should have been Blake Troop.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it at all.
Because Let's look competent enough in the ring that he could have carried the match for Troop. I feel anyways.
Yep. That being said, though, if it wasn't a singles match, all three matches on this show would have been tag matches. Speaking of the third, however, it is, again, without any lead up, the Miserably Faithful with Father James Mitchell, and that's Gags and Judas. His name escaped me for a second there. And allegedly Sal the Pal as their third in a 6-man tag match versus the Country Gentlemen and Thrillbilly with Pollo Del Mar. So there's no Sal. It's evident that there's no Sal and he's not coming out. Gags is sad. The Gentlemen want to turn this into a fair fight, 2-on-2. So Silas Mason, no problem, hops out of the ring and sits front row. It's got a little sign for the Country Gents. Spelling is important. Is ringside with Pollo for the
O out of the country show. Wow.
What's that?
Said taking the O out of the country show. I'm like, oh, they're like, oh, there it is. They corrected the spelling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminded me of a Shooter Jennings album from years ago, putting the C word back in country. But anyway, and he didn't write C word on the album cover either. But anyway, what happens here? So they step out. They got the sign. They're at ringside. AJ kind of manhandles Gags with power. He throws him down hard. He and Andrews and AJ do a bunch of super quick tags in the minutes that follow with running shoulder blocks. There's kind of a double team launcher of sorts. They do double team Judas, who ends up taking them both down. And outside the ring, as this match progresses, and I'm going to say now deteriorates, Gags attacks AJ outside the ring while Judas takes on Andrews. He's choking him with that ring apron and doing that spot. There's always with the big brawlers, the stomps, the strikes, the chokes. He wants to be hit by Andrews, and he feels no pain. He tags in Gags, he's choking Andrews with his spot on the rope where he also chokes himself. it's the faithful for a while with the usual faithful stuff. Though using gags as a battering ram is kind of new. Andrews keeps trying to make comebacks, but keeps getting cut off as the story is told. Until Judias ends up missing a run in a corner, and Kazana's tagged in. He's a house of fire in the very messy ending of this match that sees a shoulder block or two that maybe works or maybe doesn't, and a body slam for him until Gags tags the leg of. I'm just going to put a big sigh here of Judias. He gets booted out of the ring, so now he's not the legal man. At this point, I didn't really care enough to continue to follow. But AJ tags in Andrews. I've lost the very messy plot in the last 2 minutes of this match. But essentially, Judias is out on the floor. Gags ends up going for the sliced bread number 2. What does he call it? The finish, right?
Yeah.
But Andrews just catches him in a bear hug while Kazana hits a second rope clothesline in their double team. Messy's my adjective, Jeremy, for this match. What did you think?
Making this a tag match right before the beginning and having THRILLBILLY and Pollo set out was the right move. THRILLBILLY did not need to be in this match, even with the Country Gentleman going over. Andrews did look a lot better in this match than he did a few weeks ago whenever I said, and I quote, he was the shits.
Yeah.
It was an okay match, I guess. I did not, like you said, the ending got all muddled up and everything. The Country Gentlemen are growing on me more and more every week. And I hate to say this, but the Miserably Faithful Sal storyline I'm kind of becoming invested in it.
Okay.
I've always liked Sal's character work, and I want to see how they end up playing this out now. And I feel just dirty saying that.
Well, I mean, Sal was a great Sal's a good wrestler, and as Dave said to me this weekend, like back at ROH, remember when he was just phenomenal?
Yeah.
So I'd like to see him do more, but something different. But Dave, actually, I want to ask you what you thought about this match, Dave. But one part of it that I hated was the leg tag on the foot.
Yep.
This is not how it's supposed to happen. Hate it. One part I did like is when he went up for the finish, Gags, and he was just held there by Andrews, that he didn't just stand there in the grasp and do nothing. He started punching him in the head, and that's a very little and very important thing. Like, rather than just go, you know how like when the guys are outside the ring and they stand there and they all go, oh, someone's going to dive on me? Can't stand it. Do something. Hit each other. And like at the last minute, go, oh my God, right?
Yep.
Make it as realistic as possible.
Yes.
Yeah. We know that it's not the F word.
Right.
It's basically staged fighting, but make it look natural. What would you do if somebody hit you in the head? If somebody comes up and pops you in the back of the head, you're going to turn around and just start whooping.
Right.
So make it look as real as possible.
Yep.
And that guy under the mask, like, he was so experienced.
Phenomenal wrestler.
Just like I really dug it for that tiny little thing, but I hate him for the leg slap. Anyway, Dave, what did you think of this match?
It was a good match. I mean, it was the little things, the little reactions. I didn't like the tag on the leg either. That they need to tighten up, and if it's one rule, make it for everybody. But I mean, it was a good showing. Andrews looked a lot better in this match. But I mean, all I can see is AJ is dollar signs. That if he sticks with the NWA down the line, national champion, possibly heavyweight champion.
Yep.
That I mean, he's new to the business. Give him 1.5, 2 more years once he gets his footing underneath him, if they want to keep going with the tags. But the upside is he can be a singles wrestler as well.
Yep.
You're talking about AJ potentially down the road as a national or world champion?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you're smarter at this than I am. So who am I? But I got to say,
I honestly feel that if AJ had gotten started early in the business, we would probably be talking about him on WWE right now, not the NWA. He is a natural at this.
I will fight you both. You're wrong. Go ahead. Go ahead, dude.
Well, I'm looking. I mean, it's one of these things of he doesn't have to be a champion for long, but when you look at what they're pushing now for a champion, Tyrus is the champion. Nothing against Tyrus. More power to him. He's doing his thing. Billy is putting the belt on him for whatever reason. But I could see AJ as a national champion down the line and possibly, I'm not going to say as a Tommy Rich, but he could be a in-between champion until they build somebody up, put him on and let him hold it for one taping. Then 2 or 3 months later, when a story's been told and somebody else rises, he can either meet the challenge or there's a new champion. But I mean, it's one of these things that they have to start looking, not just, at our next pay-per-view. They need to look 2, 3, 4 years down the line of who they can keep and build upon. They can do the tag team as long as they need to, but why not give him a singles run?
Stranger things have happened, right? That's really the truth of it. So anything's possible, but I don't.
Sorry, this just in.
Yeah.
Where is it posted?
Mike's got the battle royal here.
People are not on the card for 312 yet. There's going to be a Memorial Battle Royal, 20-man Battle Royal. And it looks like THRILLBILLY may be involved. Rhett Titus, Magic Jake. Several, looks like the Fixers are involved. The Now.
Yay.
So that's where some of the people that aren't already booked are going to be in this battle royal. Plus, it looks like on the pre-show, Daisy Kills and Talos versus Knox and Murdoch.
Okay.
So there's going to be a very good pre-show on YouTube to get you warmed up.
Well, you see, they heard us talking and they went, "Oh, we gotta put all this together." Yeah, Mike had put that out there in the chat as well. We were saying, the F word for something else, but Mike said F for fundamental when it comes to this match that we were, talking about with the punches to the head and the leg slaps. If there's no fundamentals or realism with these dumb dives, at least act like you're fucking hurt until it's time to catch the dive,
Yep.
And the tag to the leg is too shindy looking. Anyway, I don't know what that is, but it doesn't look good, and can't stand non-actual tags. Yeah, I feel like it's having a proper tag is something that could define the NWA as a small thing that other companies don't do.
Yep.
Definitely.
But I don't see AJ Kazana down the road as a world's champion material. I could be wrong, but the person who, really provided the adrenaline for me on this Country Gentleman and Thrillbilly adrenaline is the camera time that this guy gets, deservedly so, with Pollo as well. Outside the ring, he's a magnet for, like the fans just love Thrillbilly. I could see that guy easily down the road becoming a world's champion. That'd be my pick. But anyway,
I can't wait to see him as Bam Bam in the Iron Claw movie. I don't think he'll be long for the NWA after that unless they lock him down.
Right. I would agree. He's too good. He's too charismatic to stay playing AAA ball, so to speak.
Yep.
Anyway, let's head over to the United Wrestling Network news now in a segment we like to call Championship Wrestling from Jeremy.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
The following is a presentation of the United Wrestling Network.
It's time for Championship Wrestling from Jeremy.
Dave Marquez.
God, I love that intro.
It's so good.
So good.
Dave's asleep. Jesus. Oh, there he is. You're frozen like. Anyway, over to you, my friend. Where are we starting today?
We're starting with Memphis Wrestling, episode 109. We had Dustin Starr and Terrence Ward back at the commentary table. And our first match was a Memphis Tag Team Championship match, no DQ, which it was no DQ, no rules, but it involved the posse. And pretty much all of their matches are no rules anyways. So, but this was a hell of a match for a hardcore match. I'm sure that they had to take a couple of minutes afterwards before the next match to clean out that ring because there was probably a good 30 chairs in there or so. The posse retain after Simon sidewalk slams Ray Ray onto a pile of steel chairs, and then Little Chris follows it up with a trash can lid splash from the top rope. And according to the interwebs, Ray Ray was injured during this match. No indication of how bad or how long he could be out.
Remind me again the names of this modern day hawking animal. What are the posse's names again?
Simon and Little Chris. He actually prefers to I hear him be called Big Chris or Mr. Chris, but no.
I was just being a shit. Go carry on.
He's not the boss of me. I'm going to call him Little Chris till the end of days.
There you go. Guy Twickazetti, right?
That's right. We then get Dustin Starr with Barnabas the Leader and Maurice the Strong. I've got to get that. I can't whistle, but I've got to get that little add-in for whenever we say Maurice the Strong. But Barnabas calls out the gun show and says Maurice wants a match. And out comes Brett Michaels. But Barnabas was real quick to let Michaels know that he'll have to wait until next week.
Okay. It didn't make any sense to me. Like, you're calling him out, he comes out, and it's like, yeah, but not now.
Yeah. But still, I mean, Barnabas is, I like that guy, though. You know, he is a really good manager.
Right.
We then get Gio Savage and Draco versus Prince Gaston and Matt Williams. Dustin lets it be known that that Draco is another wrestler that is taken to coming out with no shoes on. He's got the ankle wrapped up like a Muay Thai fighter would.
Right.
But apparently at the Wrestle Center, he is known as Smoking Toe Frazier. But Gio and Draco get the win with an axe kick from Draco, followed up by a Death Valley driver from Gio on Prince Gaston. That was a pretty finishing move. I like that. I like these two as a tag team together. They got good chemistry. We then go to Dustin Starr with Reverend Ash Taylor, who brings out his flock of Bulletproof Bruce, Jennifer Justice, and Ray Collins. Whenever Reverend Ash came out, the crowd was chanting asshole. But he explains that in order to become a part of his flock, they have to give an offering. And Bulletproof Bruce and Jennifer Justice tie the $100. And then Ray says, get the flock out of here, and throws down the collection plate. He's then slapped by Reverend Ash and then attacked by Bulletproof Bruce. So I'm assuming in the next couple of weeks we'll probably see a match between Ray Collins and Bulletproof Bruce. I feel sorry for Ray on that.
What I thought he should have done is when they handed him the collection plate was take the $200 and hit the guy standing beside him.
And dart. Just dive through the middle of the ring, slide out, and dart through the exit.
Yeah.
It's a straight shot.
Yeah, it's a straight shot. Yeah.
We then go to the Memphis Internet Championship match. This was a really good match. I enjoyed this match. Austin Lane he's titled the best of the best for a reason. He put on a great match with Bosby. They have really good chemistry in the ring. Bosby continues to improve and impress me. He hit the ripcord lariat twice on Lane to retain his title. Just go watch that match. It was really good.
Now he's the franchise, I guess, Tim Bosby, right?
Yeah, I would have to say so. Lane can't dispute that. There was no shenanigans with it or anything. It was all clean.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We then go to Championship Wrestling presented by Car Shield. And we start out with Jack Banning. And he comes out with Honest and Savannah Stone and Brendan Devine. From now on, it's Championship Wrestling presented by the Institution. And the Revolution will be televised. Love the Institution.
Yeah,
God, I love those guys.
They are fun.
They go to commercial break, and when they come back, we've got Milo versus Savannah Stone with the Institution at ringside. Milo put up a good fight, but Stone is finally able to hit the distasteful bomb, and she gets the win. And there was a cool little part in between the match, in the middle of the match, where she gets out and just demands that they pose with her for the camera. And then Honest came in behind and was like, hey. I love that little dude.
It was good, yeah.
I'm going to warn you now, turn down your headphones if you're listening on headphones. Have you turned them down? If not, too late. Beef Candy with Johnny LaQuasto. In 2 weeks, Beef Candy will face Reno Scum. If Beef Candy are victorious, they will get their rematch for the tag team titles. Beef Candy! I just love saying that.
It's so much fun. It was funny in that interview, too, because LaQuasto ended up saying the candy part, right?
He did. So, again, Flex got robbed.
Yeah. That's right.
You know? We then go to six-man tag action, Final Destination versus 24K with Guy Tweakazetti, because you're not cool, bro. I'm sorry.
It's ironic.
But R3 secures the victory for the Final Destination after hitting Guy with the Total Fatality Death Valley Driver. That was a good match.
It was all right. Did they just randomly change her name a few weeks ago to Final Destination? Weren't they like?
I think the tag team, the minus R3, was Final Destination, but I think they're kind of freebirding him in now.
Okay, all right.
Because the commentary did make note that if Final Destination keeps on the way that they're going, that they could be finding themselves in a contender spot for the tag titles. So
right.
I think they may be freebirding them there.
All right.
We then go to Levi Shapiro versus Dom Kubrick. Levi won this after he got drop kicked out of the ring and the ref was counting him out. And for whatever reason, instead of just standing in the ring and counting, he was right there at the ropes and counting. And this opened up an opportunity for Halston Body and Sledge to come out. Sledge hit a spear on Kubrick, I believe it was, and left him laying, and Levi got in, just kind of, well, he's down, and took the pin. A win's a win is a win.
Yeah.
You know, I'm interested to see what's going on between Kubrick and Body. The last time he helped Kubrick win, and then this time he cost him the match. So Body with the mind games is kind of interesting. We then get BHK Kevin Martinson, a backstage segment with him. Martinson is still accepting all challengers, and R3 lets it be known that he's got next after he attacked BHK. We then go to our United Wrestling Network World Tag Team Championship match between the Mighty Don't Kneel, Shane Haste, and Bad Dude Tito, with Che Cabrera versus the Midnight Heat. Che Cabrera joined the commentary booth. And new United Wrestling Network World Tag Team Champions, the Mighty Zaddies. Great match by two great teams. If you haven't watched it yet, treat yourself.
That's right. Treat yourself.
And if you're not watching Memphis and Championship Wrestling presented by, I hope you step on a Lego. Thanks for watching.
Wow.
Wow.
You think he's going to be like, you know, I hope you get hit by a car or something awful. Just like, I hope you step on. That'd be a great model for the show, eh?
I've been hit by a car. I've been hit by a car a couple of times. That doesn't hurt as bad as stepping on a Lego.
United Wrestling Network. Watch it or step on a Lego. I love that main event. And, you know, J. Cal interviewed Bad Dude Tito not that long ago for the Alliance. And that guy, he looks the shit.
He's a really good guy. Just don't let that slip out. Keep it kayfabe, brother.
Yeah, nice guy, Tito. Yeah, I mean that was a great match. You can never seemingly have a bad tag team match in the UWN.
No,
it just you've got Midnight Heat, you've got the Wolf Zaddies, you've got Beef Candy,
Reno Scum.
Like. And I know that some people, like, because you got me into UWN, right? But if they're not mainstream names per se, I'm telling you, these guys are so talented.
Yeah, amazingly talented. I'm happy every time that I know I'm going to get a tag team match on UWN because I know it's going to be a banger.
For sure. Well, thank you, my friend. Always good to hear the report. I wasn't sure I was going to even see it this week because I got traveling all weekend, but there you go. We will move on to our segment that we call I Respect You, Booker Man. And Dave, also a good opening, by the way. I really like that. Dave, you're going to talk about, will there be a Crockett Cup this year? What do you got for us?
I'm actually wondering if they'll do it or not. Granted, they do have several new tag teams, but with Billy now on tour, I'm not sure when they would actually be able to do the Crockett Cup this year. But let's say they do the Crockett Cup. Do they keep it as the Crockett Cup, or do they honor last year's winners and now call it the NWA Battle for the Briscoe? And the cup becomes the Briscoe Cup.
Shit.
Oh, my.
I was ready to go, no, it's the Crockett Cup, Dave. They can't change it. It's tradition.
Well, it's one of these things.
Yeah.
Crockett has been, I guess, involved with Conrad Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
And they did refer to the Crockett Cup, I believe, at Ric Flair's last wrestling match.
Right.
So rather than end up using something that could possibly be taken away, talk with Mark and see if he would possibly be able to be loaned for one night to present the cup. That if AEW/ROH was able to allow him, he wouldn't be wrestling,
right?
But he would be presenting a new battle for the Briscoe. It's the Briscoe Cup.
That's why you're the fucking mastermind.
Yeah,
dude.
fuck. We didn't hear any of this before the show. He just lays this stuff on us.
Tag team wrestling, and the NWA got a smidgen of what they could do. And you can always say, well, what if? Well, now their legacy can carry on in the NWA, even if they're not in the NWA. Now, last year, Crockett Cup is 16 teams. You can either go with 16 teams or automatically cut it down to 8 teams, where you'd have basically 4, 5, 6. You'd have 7 matches total. If the NWA can find enough quality teams, I'd love to see FTR brought in and have them get the win. Because one of their best matches over the last year was against the Briscoes.
Yeah.
And they tore the house down. But right now, the NWA has at least 10 teams, 10 tag teams. I'm not saying they're all high quality, but they have at least 10 teams. You have Blunt Force Trauma, which those guys, if you know, you know.
Right.
Hawks Ari, bring back the father-son duo. You have Savages. You have the Spectaculars, Country Gentlemen, your world champions, La Rebellion. You have the Fixers. You now have Trevor and Knox, who are teamed. You have Magnum Muscle, and the Now has been brought in. So there's 10 teams right there.
Yep.
That covers a majority of your teams. You have some teams that you know they're not making it past the first round. But you have to have losers to have winners. Like I said, I'd love to see FTR brought in. Who knows? I'm not sure if they're sticking with AEW or if they're moving on. But I guess FTR's storyline is if they don't win the titles in AEW, they're not wrestling anymore there. So possibly it could work out. Well, you have the new team, Daisy Kill and the 7-foot giant Talos. They could be brought in. You have another I look at it as almost a Diesel Shawn Michaels pairing.
Right.
Now, OGK is in AEW and ROH, but if we could get them to come in, a win against OGK would put another team over.
Are they even doing anything over there? I haven't heard anything.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think until ROH gets actual programming besides the Honor Club, that they're just in a holding pattern. But
that sucks.
Yeah. I had also looked, and I don't know if you remember the Koloff dynasty.
Oh yeah.
I've looked online. I don't see them really doing much, but if you could bring them back, their connection with Nikita is, I mean, that's legacy right there. Legacy, tradition of the NWA.
Yeah, they did that Circle Square episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Give them a win, have them go to the second round, lose in the second round, and stay for the tapings. Now, I've mentioned 3 teams. 4th team would be one of your teams, Jeremy. Midnight Heat. They are, if we were able to bring them into the NWA even for this and some tapings, they just have the classic NWA tag team wrestling feel to them.
Yep.
I mean, the way they dress, the way they wrestle, they are classic wrestling, classic tag team wrestling. Now, that's 5 of 6 to take us to 16. Pollo is also a manager of a tag team in California. Money, Power, and Respect. Why does Pollo have to only be a manager for the Thrillbilly? Why not bring in a tag team? And they now have, there's a group of wrestlers. It's Pollo Power. So, I mean, even if that tag team, it's Money, Power, and Respect. You bring them in just for the Crockett Cup, that if they're able to do Crockett Cup this year, this is what I would do. Even if you had to do the 16 teams and maybe do a couple of those teams would battle each other for, I don't know, a chance at either skipping the prelims, or you do some prelim matches, and then on Crockett Cup, you only have 8 teams that have basically qualified, that have gone through. But if you're doing a weekend of wrestling in the Crockett Cup all weekend, you're still going to do your championship matches with your champions. So why not do all 16 teams and do it like they did last year? Bring in some of those teams. The NWA has 10 teams that they can field by themselves. Then bring in a couple from outside, use them for the Crockett Cup, for the Crockett Cup and the tapings that would follow. And I mean, it almost writes itself if you look at what I've presented. But I really think the Crockett Cup is a good idea, but maybe it's a legacy, history, tradition, this kind of thing, where it gets renamed. We start our own legacy and tradition with it being the Briscoe. Just rename the cup the Briscoe, and it's the battle for the Briscoe.
I think that's a great idea. Like I was going to say at the beginning, like I hated the thought of going away from Crockett, but when you mentioned, Jay Briscoe and Mark, and won it last year, they're winners for the Crockett Cup, and it just makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Mike likes the Outrunners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot off AEW TV. I was trying to find my list from our Discord. I couldn't find it, but I think that would be a phenomenal shift. I would almost be surprised if ROH doesn't do it on their own.
Yeah.
And if you could set up, I don't know if the NWA would want to see an FTR finish if Mark did wrestle with, say, Jay Lethal as his partner. But because then we would have had PCO and Brody King, who weren't NWA at the time. Mm-hmm. And then we would have had, I guess, the Briscoes were next. Right? Were they next after that? I think they were. Mm-hmm. Also not NWA, but like absolutely the right choice.
Yeah.
And then like I want FTR to win like the Crockett Cup, but I'd be okay with them not winning the Crockett Cup if it meant that Mark and Jay Lethal won the Crockett Cup. Jay says yes. Wow, yeah, I like it, but I'd be almost surprised. Like I was going to say, if ROH didn't end up having a Briscoe Cup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there's really no platform right now for them to do that, is there?
There's not.
Yeah. How do you feel, JS, about the Von Erichs?
Please.
I mean, I would love to see the Von Erichs. I mean, that's another name that has tradition and legacy with it. They don't seem to be doing anything. MLW, they've disappeared.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, it's one of these things of if they're going somewhere, it's being kept really hush hush.
Yeah. Are they no longer going to be with MLW?
The last 3 tapings, they have not been, or last 2 tapings.
Oh.
They have not been. They haven't been there since, I think, August of last year.
Jay's pulling for the old school empire, Patch and Vinny from DAWG.
Oh, yeah.
Your DAWG Wrestling Tag Team Champions to be in the Crockett Cup, to win the whole thing. No. but what I liked, especially what you said about like it's still tradition. You've got these traditional tag teams. You're just renaming the cup. You're renaming the tournament in the same way that they took a flag, the Australian. You know, I didn't like this, but they took an Australian flag off the 10 pounds of gold, and it's a new Lightning One era with a champion from Great Britain. They got that flag on there. It's the same tradition they've been talking about, but they've changed it up in some small way.
Right.
You know, the national title looks like the old U.S. title, and you know, that's amazing, Dave. And again, like I always say, I hope someone's listening over on the NWA for that. The chat's quiet, so I wonder if I should just do the shirt next week. I think I'll do the shirt next week because we're at the 2-hour mark, and there we go. So, where can we find you guys on the social media as we get out of here?
You can find me on Twitter at HJWOTS and also on YouTube at youtube.com/@worm5559. And I just posted up 2 interviews with my co-hosts.
Thank you.
Yeah, a bite-sized 20-25 minutes, and which is, you know, honestly, the I'm going to do it. I'll talk about it in a second, but that is the perfect amount where you can I'm on my lunch hour, you know, and I listen in and I learn all about Dave Scooby or J-Cow or Frank Mandolini and who else am I missing? Have you done another one yet?
No, not yet.
That's it so far. So, I mean, I love that length, and it was so easy and fun. So that's awesome. Oh, I somehow shut it down. There we go. So there's the YouTube channel. What about you, Dave?
You can find me at Dave Scooby on both Twitter and Instagram. And I'm not sure what's going to happen at 312 coming up in a couple weeks. I will be heading there. Unfortunately, I won't be there the day before for the book signing. We have opening day of Baltimore Orioles baseball, and I'm contracted to do some work there. So I'll be missing out on going to the tea shop and hanging out with Medusa and Tyrus. It's all good. I'll see him at the pay-per-view on Friday, and then the tapings on Saturday.
Excellent. That's great. Hey, Lou's here. It's Lou.
Thank you,
Haven't
Lou.
seen you in forever, Lou. Quick endorsement for Jeremy's YouTube channel. Love the interviews. Haven't done JCal's yet. It's pretty good. His story about China by itself is worth the listen, but obviously the whole things. Mike, listen to it. Watch those interviews as well. They are fun. I still have to think about it because I'm not used to the name change still, but at the Alliance Gold on all the social medias. I'm going to do a segment on video myself, which I've been talking about for a while, but I'm going to pre-tape them and put them out there. And I'm going to do a segment I call Booked, which I've wanted to do for a long time. I don't know if you guys have ever seen back over here, but I have just a shitload of books, and they're all wrestling books. And so not even like as long as yours, Jeremy, like 25% of the time, probably a 4-minute video just about books involving the National Wrestling Alliance.
Awesome.
And I'm going to be starting the first book we're going to do hopefully next week or the week after, depending on my timetable and how work looks and whether or not I finally put a nice bow around the NWA portion of the DAWG Heavyweight Championship and the other belts that have been associated with that promotion, and posting that on the socials. I'll get into that. The first book I'm going to do is Welcome to Larryland, Larry Zbyszko's book, which is a super fun read.
Yeah.
Just so much fun. And I love Larry Zbyszko, so hopefully it'll be something you guys can listen to on the drive to work or on your lunch hours. Most importantly, of course, however, it is alliance-wrestling.com. This is the site. This is the mothership. And on all of the socials, Alliance Wrestling is at the Alliance blog. Everywhere you'll find them online. Tomorrow night, you've got the Alliance guys with JCal, DKM, and Jaden. And I think it's going to be a special show. I'll just say that. They are live. They are live 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific tomorrow night. We had an amazing time, Dave and I, meeting Jay and Jaden down this past weekend. Just phenomenal people, and had a lot of great conversation and just a blast. So tune in, watch the OGs as we say. And then, of course, Jay's on, the flagship show, 17 years in one format or another right now. Not the pre-party yet, but just Jay and Alliance Wrestling anyway. I think the pre-party is about 4 years old. But Tuesdays, 5 p.m. in the hour, 2 p.m. Pacific, in the hour just before Power, it's the pre-party with JCal. He'll lead you into that show and talk about all things NWA. That is it for us. Thank you. I love this banner someone has put here. The views expressed by DKM are his. That's for tomorrow night. We should just leave that up. We love you, DK. Thanks everyone in the chat for being here. Until next time, we'll see you at the matches.
Thanks for joining the stream. This has been a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you'll never miss a future episode? I'd also like to remind you we do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. before NWA Power. You can find us on social media at The Alliance Blog. And until next time, we are The Alliance.